let's take a look at the next one and see what we can learn. Howdy, howdy. Say hi in the chat if you like. All right, so we're kind of low light conditions here. Wow. Looks like this probably took off from the stop there and gave it too much throttle and kind of lost control right out of the gate. That back wheel, too much throttle, hit the white paint on the ground. Just low-sided it, dumped it. There's a lot going on right there in a short period. So that's another tip to bring up. That first clip is a bright, sunshiny day, like perfect visibility as far as you can see. This scenario, it's a little bit lower light situation. Can't tell if it's sunrise or sunset. Might be really early in the morning if I had to guess. But you can see the cars have their headlights on. It's, dusk or dawn, and a little bit more limited visibility. And especially with the headlights glaring in your eyes, sometimes that makes it a lot harder to see. So that's one thing to be aware of right away. Can't see as well. Other people probably can't see me as well. So as far as gaining information goes, like we talked about in the first one, that's going to be more of a challenge when you have impaired or limited visibility in order to gain information. So that means already we need more time, more space to react to be able to gain information when it's limited. So let's check this out. My guess here is that this biker pulls up here to the stop sign. There's that big white line. Looks like they have the blinker on. They want to turn left here. So they're doing good so far. This looks like kind of a cross-traffic street, maybe a three-way stop. Looks like white paint on the ground on all sides. So everybody's taking their turn, ready to go. This white car coming across, that darker car on the far side, getting ready to go. And then it looks like this biker wants to take their turn. Okay, so as soon as the white car goes, this biker just takes off. So already you can see we're up to 16 miles an hour here. So coming to that stop, we should be in first gear, preparing to get moving. And in this traffic situation, this biker might be on the newer side. They might be kind of feeling pressured or in a rush to get moving. And that can be a big common problem for a lot of beginner riders is, okay, I just got to the stop sign. I don't want to make anybody wait. I need to be ready to move immediately. And that can cause a big problem and get you into a crash if you're trying to rush things, right? A lot of bikers will stall because of that. They'll launch the clutch and end up stalling and sitting there and holding up traffic even longer. And other riders might end up in a situation like this where they release the clutch too quickly, give it too much throttle, and end up taking off into this intersection. So that looks like the case here. And then trying to correct it. It looks like that back tire was kind of washing out already. And then you can see how the front end kind of snaps back and dives. So back end probably started to slide, and then they maybe got scared, grabbed a hold of that front brake, and just went right down on the ground. But main takeaway from that right there is probably that instance or that scenario of feeling pressure, feeling this necessity or this need to quickly go. That's one thing that I advocate on my motorcycle all the time, to never let other motorists pressure you into going before you're ready. And me personally, I'm going to take as much time as I need. I don't want to hold up traffic forever and ever, but if I'm not ready to go, and it's the difference between go now and potentially die, or sit here and piss some people off and take my time and get myself ready and then go and be safe, that's an easy decision every single time. So even if it's a three-way stop right there, I pull up to the stop sign and I know, okay, one car goes, now it's my turn, this is my window. If I'm not ready, if I got an itch on my nose, if I got a cramp in my hand, whatever the case, if I'm mentally just not feeling like I'm ready to ease that clutch out and get moving yet, I'm going to sit there. And I'll maybe even wave my hand and let a few other cars go until I'm ready, until I'm prepared. So take that in mind. Patience, no pressure, no rush is one of the biggest benefits and tools and safety implements that you can use on your motorcycle. Never be in a rush, never be in a hurry. Speedometer's at 64 right there already. That looks like a little fast for those roads. All right, so we're cruising along, doing about 60 miles an hour, maybe. Camera's kind of low. And then it just kind of washes out. So it looks like this biker was probably just going a little too fast for the conditions there. Maybe it's early. Well, we got some leaves on the ground, so this is kind of fall. So maybe a little bit chilly. Maybe the tires aren't quite warmed up enough. So maybe we have some reduced traction situation here. Maybe this road is cold. The tires are cold. You encounter wet, dry leaves, stuff like that. You can have reduced traction. And any little errors that you can get away with on perfect conditions, you definitely are going to have to take into bigger consideration in these conditions, right? Anytime you have reduced traction, every little mistake is exponentially bigger, right? And could cause you to crash. So let's check this one more time. So the high speed is definitely a concern for me. I'm trying to look at the right hand here of the rider already. It looked like there's some aggressive shifting happening, like kind of, throttle blipping and stuff like that. But now I'm looking at that gloved right hand on the bottom of the screen there. It's a white and black glove. It looks like the fingers are already covering the front brake, maybe even engaging the front brake a little bit right there. And it looks like we're in the middle of a turn. So that's one thing I don't like to see already is, we're coming around these curves too fast, maybe riding outside of our limits, going too fast for our skill and having to slow down in the middle of a turn to not dump it. And that looks like ultimately what probably resulted in the crash here in a minute. Because as far as I can tell, we take like one turn and then right into this next turn. It's like, yeah, I mean, it looks a little chilly. If I had to guess, those roads look a little cold. So cold tires, cold bike, could be an early morning kind of ride or just cold situation, some reduced traction. The roads look pretty clear to me as far as like dried leaves and anything like that. So that shouldn't be anything for us to have to worry about. So it looks like maybe just speed is a factor, maybe not looking far enough through the turn. That's one of the problems with like cameras and GoPros is sometimes we get this video footage and it looks really obvious for us watching the video. We're like, oh, look, there's a hazard right there. Why aren't you seeing that? But there's a big difference between what the camera lens is looking at and what the motorcyclist's eyeballs are actually looking at and what they're paying attention to. So sometimes that's kind of a disconnect that people don't understand. But this rider could be, zoning out, looking off towards the right into that green grassy field over there and target fixating on something. They could be having just a momentary lapse of judgment and zoning out altogether. Whatever the case may be, we need to be looking through this curve all the way towards the exit, be able to see where we're going. That way we have that information, and that way we're getting to our destination on our motorcycle. But yeah, roads look good. Visibility is not too bad. A little bit of fog looks like. Boom, right there. And now this is right hand again. It looks like it's got that front brake engaged on the right side there. So maybe just an instance of cold roads, riding a little too fast for the conditions, maybe not looking all the way through the turn, and then getting kind of scared halfway through the turn and just grabbing a hold of some brakes. Maybe felt that back tire start to lose a little bit of traction in that turn, and that can cause people to panic and grab a hold of that brake 9 times out of 10. And then we end up just having this low side happen. Boom, back wheel washes out, and we just end up sliding into the guardrail. But great conclusion right there. You can see the rider, it doesn't really look like they make much impact, if any, with the guardrail. Their bike looks mostly okay from what you can tell. Kind of just that low slide and ends up coming to a stop here on the shoulder. It looks like another vehicle just went by right there as they came to the stop. So as far as crashes go, it looks like the biker's mostly geared up as well. So that's awesome. Hitting that engine cutoff switch right there. The back wheel was still spinning. Looks like they have a buddy coming up to check on them. So you can see the roads right there. Like they have a little bit of a shine on them. Makes it look like they might be a little touch wet from what I can see in this video footage. Like they're just a little bit shiny. So wet and shiny usually equals slick, means reduced traction. You can also see all the cracks in the asphalt right there. So maybe the roads aren't the best condition or the most well-maintained roads either. So that's going to affect our traction. We might have some bumps and kind of toss and turn us around as we're riding through these curves at 60 miles an hour. A little bit reduced traction on top of that. It's a good recipe to slide out, lose traction, and crash your bike. So slow it down, take your time, identify the condition of the roads, and be prepared for these things and make adjustments beforehand so you don't end up, kind of rolling the dice and gambling like, yeah, I can ride 60 miles an hour through these curves. I'll be just fine. And then you feel that loss of traction, you panic, you grab brakes, and you end up dumping it. So pretty bummer situation, but biker is up on their feet and motorcycle's not completely wrecked. So that's good. Oh yeah, bicycle riders coming to check on them. Cool.